respiratory system. This is going to be the first of our systems that you're probably going to be very familiar with. You've probably discussed some of these things in your biology class. So let's just extend a little bit more on this information that you already know. So our respiratory system, the whole purpose and the function of the respiratory system is to exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide between the atmosphere and body cells. Where does this occur? It occurs in the capillaries. The capillaries are where it's going to be a thin wall on the vessel, and the oxygen will migrate out of the capillaries and into the blood cells and into the tissues, and the carbon dioxide will be forced back into that bloodstream so that it can be brought back to the lungs and exhaled back into the atmosphere. Now, you are not going to have to be able to label all of these things for a test or for the quiz. What I do want you to understand is how and why we need the respiratory system in terms of that gas exchange. Okay? So a few of the organs include the nose, and believe it or not, your hairs act as a filter. So, those nose hairs are there for a reason. Here's the pharynx, which is the throat. Gives you a description there. Your larynx is your voice box. The epiglottis is the flap that automatically covers the opening of the larynx during swallowing. So what happens is it keeps the food from entering the larynx. Okay, the trachea is the passageway. The bronchus are the two branches from the trachea. And then it branches down into the bronchioles and then eventually to the alveoli. The alveoli is then where you're going to end up having the capillaries, and you're going to have a very thin alveolar wall, which is going to allow for that gas exchange to occur. You actually have two sponges, and you have a total of 5 lobes. So if you go to the doctor and they're listening to you breathing and they tell you to take a deep breath in and then out, what they're going to do is make you do that 5 times. They're listening to every lobe of your lungs. You have 3 on the right and 2 on the left. What if one of your lobes, something happens to one of your lobes? It's okay. I mean, of course, you'll probably be hospitalized, in the case of pneumonia or something like that. But as long as you can get enough air, and we're going to talk about some of the tests a little bit later on in the chapter, but as long as you can get enough oxygen, you're going to be okay. Here are our combining forms for this chapter. Adenoid, alveolo, bronchio, and broncho mean the same thing. Diaphragmato, that's going to be your diaphragm, which is, right up underneath your lungs, which allows for that air to enter and exit. So here are the rest of those combining forms. And a few more, they give you some more commonly used ones. Our prefixes this time, they're just a few, not too many. Poly means many, tachy is fast. And suffixes, we have a lot of suffixes this chapter, so please be sure you know everything from page 150 to 158 in your textbook for the quiz. Remember, you do not need to know the picture, but I would like you to know on page 154 there's a picture of an alveoli and gas exchange that occurs. I would like you to be able to explain what's going on in that picture. If you feel like you don't know what's going on in that picture, be sure you email me and I can get you a little more information on that. But through your text and through your prior knowledge, you should be able to explain. That's the picture on the bottom of page 154 on the right hand side, where it shows the oxygen and CO2 being transferred in the alveolus. And then the last part, told you we had a lot of suffixes. These are the last of our suffixes. This is going to be the end of this narrated PowerPoint, because I do want you to study those, and I'll start at this screen for the next one.